Good morning and welcome to Frank School, 6-year 91st day first video. Werdziz list of classics. That's a little bit whimsical to write it like that. And I thought about just saying words, list of classics. But the possessive is necessary, or not necessary, but you need to understand it. And I wrote the whole thing then in Artok writing. That's the way I spell by choice. Anyway, this also could be known as Notes from Mr. A from 1996. And that I have from a preface. I mentioned this in the last class yesterday, and I'm going to go over to the table there, and I'm going to flip through the pages and film it, and hope that you'll be able to see it, because then I think you could see the list. One other thing I could tell you maybe is that this would serve. This isn't just literature. This is all kinds of classics, but it would serve in a sense as a lifelong reading list, if you could work your way through this stuff, the stuff that I thought was most famous. All right, so I'm going to cut now and go over there and start flipping through the pages. Hope it works. Bye for now. I'm going to try this a second time. The first time wasn't in focus and it was too far away. This still may not work well, but I'm going to try. And I'm probably going to be fighting a cat the whole time. Anyway, this is the copy. Well, here I go again. This is my fourth attempt. I'm going to get this until it's readable. There's the preface. There is the sort of the table of contents. I've looked at this and I think this is worth going to this bother to present this list. In readable form. I'm hoping this will work. Maybe hear a cat about to fight. Let him fight. That's my feeling now. Now with pausing, if you really wanted to know what's on this list, I hope now it's like the fourth time I've done this. I just don't have the computer skills to do the scanning and do it any other way. Probably help if I don't do a whole lot of talking. Keep my fingers off stuff though. Yeah, I'll just let the list speak for itself. I'm about to come to a page that's out of order. So if you're driven enough, if you really would like to see what's here, well, I think you could. Shakespearean plays. Maybe I could speak a little bit while I'm doing this. What you're looking at is really the material covered in the Humanities through a whole year of 8th grade, or half a year of 7th grade and half a year of now this is the page that's in the wrong place, so I'm just going to cross it and come back to it later. I started off teaching the first part of it to 7th graders up to the Battle of Hastings, and then those kids would come back to me in 8th grade, and that was when I wasn't teaching any grammar or foreign languages. With a lot of pausing, I think now I hope you can read it. With quite a bit of devotion, but I just said to the inmates in the prison that if they only have one copy of this, they just copy it themselves, for themselves, because that would give them time to think about each one of the terms that they're writing down, the names. Give them a little bit longer. Which I actually think that would probably be a decent idea. In the course of the school year, the 7th and 8th graders, of course, did write all these down. I put them on the board. They wrote them in their notes. I graded their notes. I wanted to see that they had paid enough attention to write the word down, you know, among other things. It's so tempting to do a little bit of explaining as I go, but maybe this will work out better if you just see the list. I was talking to a woman yesterday who said she would give money to buy 10 dictionaries for the prisoners in the jail. I mean, that'd be a lot of money, but you know, I said, well, maybe look at this list, because these are books and stories that have all been regarded as worthy. And it would be quite a library if it had these books, and not too much more, actually, in terms of, well, almost in any terms. Let me say maybe in terms of fiction and poetry, as opposed to nonfiction. But an encyclopedia would go a long ways for the nonfiction. And a dictionary, pretty critical for writing skills. Language skills in general. Now, it'd be interesting sometime to compare what is available here in the local jail, we would call it, which is described as a holding facility, with what is in a prison. You know, within 50 miles of here, there's at least 2 prisons. And I'm not very inclined to drive that far, but I might at some point, just maybe just to look at their library, or to maybe follow some of the friends I'm making at the jail if they're find out that they're going to go to a prison to do more of their time. I don't know if I'd be able to do that, say hello to them. I don't even know if they're allowed to write me letters, or if I can write letters to them. I hope so. I think so. Okay. This is out of order too, a little bit, but let me film it anyway. What's at the top is from the 70s and maybe 80s. If this isn't in good enough focus to be able to read it, I'm going to do this again. One way or another, I'm going to get this available to people that would want to see it. I'm sure there's other lists of classics, but, you know, in chronological order, together with some history and some characteristics of the period, it gives a context. Uh-oh. Here comes a cat. I get up into the 20th century, and I'm sure I'm missing some of things that people would say, well, you have to have that. That's my favorite book. That's the greatest book ever. For example, To Kill a Mockingbird is not in here. I actually have never read it, although I'm sure it's a great book. I have no doubt. Go back to page 11, it says. So here we are. Here's page 11. This is where this fits in. And then go to the last page. It says, well, it's the last page of writing is what's meant by that. And that would be this. And I said to be continued because, you know, the closer you get to the present, the harder it is to find out what really is classic or will be classic. But there's 2 more pages. I'd given some drawings just to introduce them the idea of looking at architecture, lintels versus arches. And I noticed that I didn't have anything about the pointed arch, so I wrote that in there. And this is a little bit about timber framing. You know, subjects favorite of mine, and then, you know, as I would show clips, I would point out the buildings, different kinds of roofs. This is something that kids can relate to. That one on the left is a gable roof. And that's it. There we go. This is my 4th attempt. I hope my last. Bye for now.